History remembers many giants, figures whose names echo through the centuries, shaping the world in ways both subtle and profound. Among these titans, one name rises above the rest, shrouded in both fact and legend. Alexander the Great stands apart, a Macedonian king who in just over a decade carved out one of the largest empires the ancient world had ever seen. His conquests stretched from the rugged mountains of Greece to the sands of Egypt, and all the way to the distant rivers of India. His journey was not just a series of battles, but a relentless quest for glory and knowledge. Alexander's ambition was boundless. He sought not only to conquer lands, but to unite cultures, spread ideas, and leave a mark that would endure for millennia. His story is more than battles. It's about vision, relentless drive, and a charisma that inspired armies to march to the edge of the known world. Soldiers followed him not just out of duty, but out of loyalty to a leader who seemed almost touched by the divine. Legends grew around him even in his own lifetime. Some believed he was descended from gods, others saw him as a visionary destined to change the course of history. His presence commanded respect, and his words could ignite the hearts of thousands. Alexander's life, packed with extraordinary events, often blurs the line between myth and reality. Stories of his courage, his intellect, and his daring have been told and retold, each time growing more legendary. Imagine a young leader, barely out of his teens, commanding a battle-hardened army to challenge an empire spanning 3 continents. His youth was no barrier. Instead, it fueled his audacity and inspired those around him to believe in the impossible. To understand if he was truly the greatest general in history, we must look beyond his victories, into his strategies, his leadership, and the sheer boldness of his ambitions. Alexander was a master of tactics, but also a student of philosophy, science, and culture. He brought together people from different lands, encouraging the exchange of ideas and traditions. His vision of a blended world was revolutionary, laying the groundwork for a new era of cultural fusion. By exploring his triumphs and legacy, we begin to see why Alexander's name still resonates with such power and fascination. His legend endures not just because of what he conquered, but because of the world he imagined, and the stories that continue to inspire us today. Alexander's extraordinary journey began in the opulent royal court of Macedon, a place where power, ambition, and intrigue shaped the destiny of nations. Born in 356 BC to King Philip II, a formidable strategist and ruler, and Queen Olympias, a woman of fierce intelligence and ambition, Alexander was destined for greatness from the very start. His parents' influence would shape his character and aspirations in profound ways. His father, renowned for transforming the Macedonian army into a dominant force, ensured Alexander received the finest education available. The young prince was tutored by none other than Aristotle, the legendary philosopher, who opened his mind to philosophy, science, and the arts. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander developed a deep love for learning, a curiosity about the world, and a relentless hunger for glory that would drive him throughout his life. Inspired by the epic tales of Homer, Alexander idolized Achilles, the legendary Greek hero of the Iliad. He saw in Achilles a model of bravery and honor, and aspired to emulate his deeds, believing himself destined to achieve greatness on the battlefield and beyond. From a young age, Alexander was immersed in the world of politics and military training. He learned the art of statecraft at his father's side, mastering the skills of negotiation, leadership, and strategy. In the training grounds, he honed his abilities as a warrior, excelling in swordsmanship, horsemanship, and tactics. One legendary episode from his youth was the taming of Bucephalus, a wild and seemingly untamable stallion. While others failed, Alexander's keen observation and fearless approach allowed him to succeed, revealing not only his courage but also his sharp intellect and unique bond with animals. By the age of 16, Alexander was already entrusted with significant responsibilities. Acting as regent in his father's absence, he crushed rebellions with decisive action and even founded his first city, demonstrating his leadership and vision at an age when most were still learning. At 18, Alexander's military prowess was put to the test at the Battle of Cheronea. Commanding the elite Macedonian cavalry, he played a crucial role in securing victory and establishing Macedonian dominance over Greece, a remarkable achievement for one so young, and a sign of the legendary conqueror he was destined to become. In 336 BC, after King Philip's assassination, 20-year-old Alexander seized the throne amid chaos and rivals. He acted swiftly, securing the army's loyalty and eliminating threats to his rule. When Greek city-states led by Thebes rebelled, Alexander responded with overwhelming force. He marched south at lightning speed, besieged Thebes, and razed the city, killing thousands and selling survivors into slavery. This brutal act sent a clear message: defiance would be crushed. With Greece subdued, Alexander was free to pursue his father's ultimate ambition, the invasion of the Persian Empire. His reign had begun with blood and fire, but his eyes were set on even greater conquests. The world was about to witness the rise of a legend. In 334 BC, Alexander led his army across the Hellespont into Asia, symbolically claiming the continent as his own. His force, though small by Persian standards, was the most disciplined and battle-hardened in the world. Alexander styled himself as a new Achilles, linking his campaign to Greek myth and vengeance for past Persian invasions. The Persians underestimated him, sending local satraps and mercenaries to stop his advance. At the Granicus River, Alexander defied cautious advice and led a daring cavalry charge, breaking the Persian line. The victory was total, opening Asia Minor to his conquest. Alexander's boldness and tactical brilliance were already reshaping the ancient world. The march into Persia had truly begun. After Granicus, Alexander secured Asia Minor's coast, denying the Persian navy its ports. Darius III, the Persian king, finally took the threat seriously, assembling a massive army to confront Alexander at Issus. The narrow battlefield neutralized Persian numbers, forcing a direct clash. Alexander led a decisive cavalry charge, targeting Darius himself. The Persian king panicked and fled, triggering a rout. Alexander captured Darius's family and royal camp, cementing his dominance. The victory at Issus was a turning point. Alexander had defeated the great king and shaken the Persian Empire to its core. The road to further conquest lay open. Most cities surrendered after Issus, but Tyre, a fortified island city, defied Alexander. Lacking a navy, he ordered the construction of a massive causeway across the sea, a feat of engineering genius. The Tyrians fought back fiercely, but Alexander's persistence was relentless. He built siege towers, gathered a fleet, and blockaded the city. After 7 months, his forces breached the walls. The assault was brutal. Thousands were killed or enslaved, and Tyre was destroyed. The siege showcased Alexander's innovation and determination to overcome any obstacle. No fortress, no matter how impregnable, could stand in his way. His legend and his empire grew ever larger. With Tyre and Egypt under his control, Alexander faced Darius's rebuilt army at Gaugamela in 331 BC. Outnumbered, Alexander used a daring maneuver to draw out the Persian cavalry, creating a gap in their lines. He led his companion cavalry in a devastating charge straight for Darius. Once again, the Persian king fled and his army collapsed. The victory was absolute. Babylon, Susa, and Persepolis soon fell. Darius was murdered by his own men, leaving Alexander the undisputed king of Asia. The ancient world had never seen such a rapid, total conquest. Alexander's tactical genius and audacity had toppled an empire. The world order was forever changed. Having conquered the vast Persian Empire, Alexander the Great was not content to rest on his laurels. Driven by an insatiable ambition and a vision of a world united under his rule, he pressed ever eastward, determined to reach the very edges of the known world. His eyes now turned toward the mysterious lands beyond Persia, where new challenges and unknown peoples awaited. The journey through Central Asia was grueling and relentless. Alexander's army faced not only the harsh, unforgiving terrain of mountains and deserts, but also fierce resistance from local tribes. Guerrilla warfare, ambushes, and constant skirmishes tested the resolve of even his most loyal soldiers. Supplies ran low, and the men endured hunger, thirst, and exhaustion as they pushed deeper into unknown territory. As Alexander adopted Persian customs and dress to better rule his new subjects, many of his Macedonian veterans grew uneasy. They felt alienated by his embrace of foreign ways, fearing he was losing touch with his roots. Yet Alexander pressed on, determined to blend cultures and forge a new, united empire. In 326 BC, Alexander led his weary army across the formidable Indus River and into the Indian subcontinent, There he faced one of his greatest challenges, King Porus, a formidable ruler who commanded a massive army and terrifying war elephants. The two forces clashed at the Hydaspes River in a battle that would become legendary. Through a combination of surprise tactics, strategic brilliance, and sheer determination, Alexander managed to overcome Porus's forces. The victory was hard-fought and costly, but Alexander's respect for Porus's courage led him to make the defeated king an ally, rather than a prisoner, strengthening his hold on the region. However, the relentless pace and endless battles had taken their toll. Alexander's soldiers, exhausted, homesick, and longing for home after years of campaigning, finally refused to march any further east. Their loyalty had limits, and they yearned to see their families and homeland once more. Reluctantly, Alexander agreed to turn back. The return journey was no less perilous. The army faced unimaginable hardship as they crossed the deadly Gedrosian desert, where scorching heat, lack of water, and starvation claimed the lives of thousands. Despite the staggering losses and the suffering endured, Alexander's determination never wavered. The legend of his conquests only grew, as tales of his courage and leadership spread far and wide. By the end of his campaigns, Alexander's empire stretched from the heart of Greece all the way to the edge of India, encompassing a vast array of peoples, cultures, and lands. The world he created was forever changed, as Greek culture, ideas, and influence spread across continents, shaping the course of history for centuries to come. In 323 BC, Alexander died suddenly in Babylon at just 32, leaving no clear successor. His empire fractured, torn apart by his ambitious generals. Yet his true legacy was the dawn of the Hellenistic age. Greek culture, language, and ideas spread across 3 continents. He founded cities, most famously Alexandria, that became centers of learning and trade. Alexander's tactical genius, personal courage, and vision set a standard for leaders ever since. He was more than a conqueror. He was a catalyst for a new world. Whether or not he was the greatest general, his impact is undeniable. Alexander's legend endures, a timeless testament to ambition, genius, and the power to change history.